Okay, welcome back, class. This is Miss Helmers talking. Thought Giselle would like that, like, oh my God. All right, 62 and 63, setting up sohcahtoa. So,
Are you recording?
yes,
They're gonna hear that laugh and they're gonna get it.
they'll be fine. All right, so here's our trigonometry page that you want to refer to when we talk about sohcahtoa. Trigonometry is going to work for right triangles. These specific boxes are what we're going to use today. So you're going to be looking for words for opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. We're going to set up some ratios here. The two over here on your formula sheet, you can just know that they're there. That'll be bonus learning if we get to it, okay? So focus on these three for today. All right, so let's flip this over. On 1 through 4, we're just going to label the sides of the right triangle correctly. So I like to refer to this as the marked angle. See how that angle has a highlight on it? Okay, so since it has a highlight, that tells you you're going to start at that angle. And then you're just going to draw a line to the side that's opposite that. The one that you just hit, you're going to label as opposite, O-P-P-O-S-I-T-E. That's your opposite side. Okay, now I suggest finding your 90-degree angle and then find the side that's opposite the 90. The side opposite the 90 is always the hypotenuse because that's what it was with Pythagorean theorem, and that's still true. So there's your hypotenuse. And then the side that's left is always next to the angle that you started at, the marked angle, and next to is adjacent. So this side is called your adjacent. Adjacent. Okay, so that's what we're doing on 1 through 4 is labeling the sides correctly. All right, number 2, where are you going to start with this one? Down here at the marked angle. And then you draw your line to find your opposite side first. Okay, you can abbreviate, so we're just going to put OPP for opposite. Okay, find your 90 and draw your line to your side that's opposite that, and that one is called your hypotenuse, so HYP is good enough for hypotenuse. And then the bottom is the adjacent, ADJ. All right, number 3, find your marked angle. And we're going to draw to the side that's opposite that. So this is going to be your opposite.
And then on the other side is your hypotenuse, and then on top is adjacent.
Good. Make sure you get the hypotenuse opposite the 90. And then adjacent is up here. Look what happens when she pays attention. Number 4, here's your marked angle. Last one on number 4. Make sure you got this correct. This is the big deal for today. So draw your line. That's your opposite. So opposite side is the horizontal. Find the 90. That's your hypotenuse. And then we have adjacent. Okay, cool. Any questions on that? All right, now let's talk about the trigonometry part of this. So we're going to start with this first one that is, you're supposed to say this as sine, even though it's just written S-I-N. It looks like the word sin, but the math word is sine. So S-I-N is an abbreviation for the word sine, S-I-N-E. And the sine of an angle is the ratio of the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So let's fill that in over here. So remember the S stands for sine, S-I-N-E, and the sine of an angle is a ratio of the opposite side over the hypotenuse side. So the opposite over the hypotenuse for sine. Now, somebody asked me earlier if you have to memorize them. It'd be good to know them. That's why I know this word sohcahtoa, because see the S right here? It's your O side over your H side. See the O over the H? So if you can remember that word sohcahtoa, then you'll remember these ratios. So opposite over hypotenuse. Now open this up and now we're going to show you how you do that. All right, so if you look at this right triangle, are any of the angles marked like they were up above? What do you guys see? Does any of them have a mark like it did up here? No, this is not marked. So you have to look here. It says sine, and that means the angle to start at. So it wants the sine of angle C. So that means you're going to come down here and you're going to label the triangle from the C. So when I say mark your triangle, I like you to just like do that so I know you're all in the same spot. And now we label the triangle from that angle. Okay, so I told you to find your what side first? Opposite, so draw your line over. That means this 28 is the opposite. If you want, you can just put an O. Okay, here's our 90. Yep, that's our H, and this would be our adjacent. Any questions on that part? Okay, so sine is the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So flip back over. What numbers are the opposite over the hypotenuse? The opposite, what number is it? 28, and 35 is the hypotenuse. So you just write equals 28 over 35. Now, the only other thing that you'd have to do with that is reduce it. Your yellow calculators will reduce it very nice if you hit the fraction button. Desmos does not reduce it on the state version. So when you take the test for the real EOC, we'll make sure you have the yellow calculator and Desmos, because some things work better on either one.
So we're allowed to search up Desmos then?
Yeah. You don't search it up, you just click and you hit the calculator button on the EOC test, and that's what pops up, is Desmos. I'll show you when we get that far, okay, when it's logged on. All right, if you can do this in your head, they both divide by 7. So 28 divided by 7 is what? 4, and what's 35 divided by 7? 5. So your answer is 4/5. Okay, let's go to the next one. So the next word is a big C. And if you look here, the C stands for, looks like COS, but the word is actually cosine. C-O-S-I-N-E. C-O-S-I-N-E. So the cosine is the ratio of the adjacent, good, the adjacent over the hypotenuse. The adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, so open this back up. What angle do they want you to start at?
A.
A, good. So since it says A right there, that's where we start. So that means label your triangle from the A. So that would mean this side is your opposite. Here's your hypotenuse, and here's your adjacent. Okay, if you forget what cosine represents the ratio of, you can flip your paper back. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So open this back up. 30 over 34. Good job. That reduces. They both can divide by 2. Anybody know the answer? What's 30 divided by 2? 15. 34 divided by 2 is 17. So it's 15/17. Okay? All right, last one. The tan word. Tan is abbreviated for tangent. Tangent. The O stands for the opposite, and the A stands for the adjacent.
What is C?
Cosine. Okay, last one. It's the same process that we just did. Where are you going to start? No. The C. Do you guys think it would matter if you started at like A? Would you get the same answers if you started at the A? Well, look, if you start at the A, what's your opposite side?
C.
That one. Is that the opposite side as if you start at C? No, the opposite side here is this one. So you want to make sure you start at the right spot, otherwise you'll get the answer wrong. All right, O over A, anybody for that?
27 over 36.
27 over 36, both of those are factors of 9. What's 27 divided by 9? 3. What's 36 divided by 9? 4. So 3/4 is your answer. All right, and that gets glued on 63 as well. Just try to fit it in at the bottom. Anybody have any questions?
Wait, where do we do this?